Hello, Tom here has already showed you his favourite chod rig to be using in weedy conditions. I'm Jack Jackson. I'm going to be showing my favourite rig to be using. So I'm going to start off by making the hook link. I've got a ESP Soft Ghost 18 pound fluorocarbon. It's 100% fluorocarbon line. It's 0.43 millimeters thick. It's a really good, strong line. Again, it's really supple, really flexible, so you've got loads of movement, which is what I want on my chod rigs. I want maximum movement, so that's what I've chosen to be using for it. The hook I'm going to be using is a size 8 quarter choddy hook, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by putting the hook on, and it's the simple normal knot that you do, the lock nut slot. Exactly the same way you tie any of your other rigs really. So I'm going to just put that through the eye of the hook and do 9 turns going down the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 2 going back up the hook. The 2 going back up the hook is just to lock the nut so the nut does not slip, and go back through the eye of the hook. Just like that. Wetting it off just before we pull it. Pull it down nice and tight. There's your knotless knot. And the excess here, which would normally be your hair rig, is going to end up forming in the D. So now I'm going to put the swivel on. I've got a nice little nut that I like to use for my chod rigs. It gives maximum movement, which is again what I want for my my chod rigs. So I'm just going to start off by making a little loop in the line, just folding it over like that, and passing the line back through that little loop. And you've created yourself a very small little nearly a knot. If you pull that tight, it'll create a little knot. But what I'm going to do now is put this swivel on, which is a quarter swivel, favourite ones, everyone prefers the quarter ones. Then I'm just going to put the line back through the loop that you've just created, like so, and pull that down roughly to how big you're going to want your loop to be. I'm only going to want a small loop, so I'm just going to have it like that. Now I'm going to do 4 turns going up the line. Okay, just like that. Now what I'm going to do is wet it. So it slides nicely into place and keep the line. Just do the turns one more time. Okay, and then what you do is you just go back through the little loop that you've already created there. Just go back through that loop. Just like so. And then pull it down nice and tight. Just like that. Okay, and there you go. You've got a lovely little loop. Just snip the excess off that you don't need. What I always like to do as well is you just get a lighter and just wet your fingers so you don't burn your fingers, and hold the nut, lighter, and just singe the end slightly just to create a no slip point. Basically you don't want the line. If it does slip, which I've never had this knot slip on me, then that little singe part there will create a stop point and it will just block it pulling through as easy. So there you go, you got your loop again to create maximum movement for the hook to go into the carp's mouth. Now what I'm going to do is create the D. It's quite simple. Just snip a point in the line so it passes back through the eye of the hook a bit easier. What I'm going to do is get a micro rig ring, slip the micro rig ring just drop that one. Slip the micro rig ring onto the excess where the hair rig would normally be. Pull that down at your waist so it's a bit easier to slip in. I like the very small rig rings, so I'm always dropping them. Put that on like that, so fold that down out your eye. Like that. Then pass the line back through. I'm just going to wet it slightly. It'll make it a bit easier to push back through. It can be a little bit of a tricky task sometimes to get it back through, but there you go, got it back through quite easy that time. So now you can gauge how big you want the D to be. You can have a quite big D. I prefer slightly smaller D. Roughly I want it around that big, so I'm just going to pull that up slightly, like that, because when you singe it now, you're going to pull it back through and it's going to end up around that size. So just snip that again, roughly, leaving some more still coming through, because you're going to get the lighter again now. And you're just going to singe again. Wet your fingers. You don't want to burn your fingers, or you don't want to burn the mine, so just wet them. And you're just going to singe the end of it just like this. Just like so. And again, you can see you've created a fatter point in it, which is going to stop the line coming back through, and then you can pull it down, and then there is your D with the little micro rig ring on, like so. And you've got your nice small little chod rig with maximum movement. Again, everything I use this for is movement. If that fish sucks it up, I want it to go straight in, catch hold. So there it is, my little chod rig. I'm going to go on to actually putting it onto the rod now, and the actual full chod rig that's on the line. Well, I've already showed you how to tie the actual rig itself, chod rig. Now I'm going to be showing you how I actually put it onto the line. I start off by putting one of the corded sinkers. These are the large ones. I prefer the large ones to put on the line because they're heavier. Get the line down, pin the line down quicker. So start off by threading one of them onto the line, just like that. Take it up the line so you've got a bit of slack to play with. And you can get yourself a bead. These are just the corded beads. And the way I'm going to put it on is there's a bigger side to the bead where it's got the bigger hole. And then there's a smaller side of the bead. I'm going to put the bigger side on first, and threading it through to the back, so it's on the line like that. And the bigger, that's quite important actually, that the hole in the bead, the bigger side goes on first. And I'm just going to thread it onto the line, up to the sinker. And then I'm just going to push it onto the sinker. These are the smaller beads that I'm using here, so it does take a little bit more of a push to get it onto the sinker. Just get it on. Like that. So it's on the sinker, and it won't move. You want to just get it on quite tight, so it's going to stop your rig coming flying back up. That's good enough, that's on there now. Next one I'm going to put on is the rig itself. Just thread that on, put it in a swivel, like that, run it down to the stuff. Next one I'm going to put on is another one of the beads. But this time, again, it's got the bigger side of the bead, the bigger hole and the smaller hole. I'm going to put it for the smaller hole first this time. Which again, it actually works out to be quite important. So the smaller side first. Then I'm going to put on the new Chod tungsten tubing. This is really good tubing. I've used it actually